I don't know when exactly it clicked for me, but at some point I noticed something that I couldn't really unsee. It's easy to show up for other people. Like, it's genuinely easy. I could wake up early for a job, sit there for 8 to even 12 hours with no real internal debate about it. I'd show up for a boss I barely knew, for a company I had no emotional connection to, and willingly sit there for over 12 hours. Same with school. I've spent years doing assignments, writing papers, sitting through lectures for subjects I didn't really care about, and I did it consistently week after week for years. But when it came to the things that actually mattered to me, like making videos, going to the gym, or building something of my own, I'd treat those like they were optional. Like they'd fit in wherever there was leftover time, and if there wasn't any leftover time, I'm out of luck. And at some point I realized that that's a really strange way to live. I think a lot of it comes from how we're conditioned to think about our obligations. When something's external, like a job, a class, maybe even a favor for a friend or family member, it feels non-negotiable. There's someone else involved, so you have to show up. You don't want to let them down, and you give them the respect that they deserve. But when it's just for yourself, there's no one holding you accountable, and there's no consequences you can point to if you skip a day at the gym, or maybe don't work towards a passion that you want to work towards. So it's easy to just let it slide consistently. No one's relying on you except for yourself. And then suddenly months go by, and the thing you meant to do is sitting exactly where you left it. It sucks because that's exactly what happened to this channel. My last video got 6 views and it was uploaded a month ago. And because I wasn't holding myself accountable, and because I respected others more than I respected myself, I just stopped making videos. Even though I told myself I wouldn't. I publicly said it in my last videos that I wouldn't. And I did anyway. I feel like the problem is the absence of that consequence, or even the absence of self-respect I have. You know, when I'm doing something for someone else, I feel obligated to do it. I feel like there's no other option. But once I'm doing it for myself, because no one else is relying on me, I drop it. Because the truth is, every hour that I gave to someone else that had nothing to do with me was an hour taken away from something I could have done for myself. That's not me saying I shouldn't have gone to work, or shouldn't have gone to school, or maybe not been there for my friends or family. I'm not saying any of the time I gave to that was wasted. But I think for a long time, I've been thinking about my life being infinitely available to all these external factors, but very limited and conditional to my own interests and passions. And that imbalance, once I actually noticed it, it was starting to be hard to ignore. I started treating my own time differently. Not perfectly and not overnight, but differently. Like I said, I'm still working on that with even this channel. But things like the gym stopped being things I got to do if my time allowed me to do it, and it just became things that I had to do in that day no matter what. So I'm hoping making videos can stop being something like an idea just sitting there and waiting for the time for me to be able to actually act on it, and me actually obligating myself to actually work on these things so I can build on it and continue growing this channel. And what surprised me is how even that mindset change has changed the way I feel about everything. Not because other parts of my life got easier, but because I stopped feeling like I was wasting my time or using my time on other people and external things and had no time for myself. I realized that me saying that I had no time for myself and me saying that I'm too busy was actually just an excuse. Obviously, it got a little bit harder to make that time and actually do the things that I wanted to do, but it's not impossible. It never was. There's something about knowing that you're at least showing up for yourself, even in a small way. It makes the rest of life feel more manageable, but also just happier, and like I'm actually glad to be a part of it. I have such a sense of contentment inside of me knowing that I'm actually working towards what I want, but also working on these external things that I didn't just drop for the sake of myself. It started feeling less like I was just running on someone else's schedule and just kind of fitting in wherever I could fit myself in, and more like I'm actually living a life that I'm happy to live. And like I said, I don't think it's about abandoning your responsibilities or deciding that other people don't matter anymore. It's more like deciding that you matter more, giving yourself the same respect that you give other people. And for the longest time, I just didn't give myself that respect. I'm not entirely sure why, but I'm just glad I've acknowledged it so I can use that moving forward.